When you get a new job, what's the first thing you look at? Come on, be honest. For most of us, it's that salary number, right? But here's the thing. That number is only one part of the story. Today, we're going to dive into the powerful, legally required benefits that make up a huge part of your total compensation package in India. It's a safety net you might not even know you have.
So, let me just ask you straight up. Is your job really just about that monthly paycheck? I get it. It's tempting to measure your worth that way. But if you're only looking at the salary, you are absolutely overlooking a massive part of your financial security.
You see, beyond whatever is in your contract, there's a whole legal framework working behind the scenes to protect you at every single stage of your career. This isn't just boring red tape. It's your statutory safety net, designed to give you real security long after that paycheck has been spent.
All right, so let's jump right in. And kind of funny enough, we're going to start at the end, your retirement. First up is a cornerstone of your long-term financial planning, the employee's pension scheme.
So, what is this thing really? Well, at its heart, the EPS is a social security scheme with a super simple goal: to make sure that after you hang up your boots at age 58, you get a regular monthly pension. It's a guaranteed income stream for when you're no longer working. Simple as that.
Now you're probably asking, okay, but does this actually apply to me? Well, if your company is covered by the Main Provident Fund Act, then yep, it sure does. And what's really cool is how it's funded. It's not another deduction from your salary. Nope. Instead, a slice of what your employer contributes to your Provident Fund gets automatically diverted to build up this pension fund for you.
So, a few key things to remember here. First, the money comes from your employer's side of the PEF contribution. Second, and this is crucial, there's something called a vesting period. Think of it as the time you need to be in the system to unlock the benefit. For the pension, that's 10 years of service. After that, your pension amount is figured out based on your salary and how long you've worked. And maybe most importantly, it includes survivor benefits to protect your family if something happens to you.
Okay, so that's your long-term security. But what about a reward for your loyalty now? Well, that brings us to our second part, the Payment of Gratuity Act. Gratuity is basically a big thank you from your employer, except it's a thank you that's required by law. It's a one-time lump sum payment you get for sticking with the company for a long time. It's a financial high five for your commitment.
So who gets this awesome thank you? Well, the law usually kicks in for companies with 10 or more people. But the key number for you, the one you've got to remember, is 5. Once you've been with the same employer for 5 continuous years, boom, you've unlocked this benefit. And you get it whenever you leave that job, whether you're retiring, moving to a new one, or in an unfortunate case due to death or disability. Now, when it comes to figuring out how much you actually get, this is the magic number you need to know: 15. The whole formula is based on 15 days of your last salary for every single year you've worked there.
And here's how it all breaks down. The formula is pretty straightforward. Take your last monthly salary, divide it by 26, multiply by that magic number 15, and then multiply that by how many years you've worked. But here's the best part. A huge chunk of this payout is actually tax-free. Plus, to make sure you get what you're owed, companies have to get insurance to cover these payments, and they have to pay you within 30 days of you leaving.
All right, we've covered the long game, and we've covered loyalty. Now let's talk about another massive part of life: starting a family. This brings us to the support system for working parents, and specifically, the Maternity Benefit Act.
What's so fascinating here is that you can see the law evolving with the times. It's not stuck in the past. It started way back in 1961, but then in 2017, it got this huge game-changing update. Paid leave more than doubled, from 12 weeks all the way to 26 weeks. And just as important, it expanded to include adoptive mothers and even required bigger companies to provide daycare. That shows a real shift in supporting modern families and women in the workplace.
So who's covered? Just like the other laws, it's generally for companies with 10 or more employees. And for a woman to be eligible, she just needs to have worked for about 80 days in the year before her due date. That's a pretty low bar, and it's designed that way on purpose to make sure this critical support reaches as many working women as possible.
Now, this is really important because the benefit isn't just one size fits all. For your first 2 children, you get that generous 26 weeks of paid leave. If you have a third child, it's 12 weeks. If you adopt a young child, you also get 12 weeks of leave. And the law even provides, very compassionately, for 6 weeks of paid leave after a miscarriage. It's really nuanced to support women through all kinds of different situations.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and bring all this together. We've talked about retirement, loyalty, and starting a family.
These aren't just HR policies, you guys. These are your rights, and they're designed to give you real, tangible security all through your career.
So here's the quick and dirty recap. You've got your pension for security after you retire, which you unlock after 10 years. Then there's gratuity, your lump sum loyalty reward, which you get after 5 years. And finally, you have the maternity benefit, which is your support system during one of the biggest moments of your life. Each one for a different purpose at a different stage of your journey.
And this right here really just hits the nail on the head. Knowing about these laws isn't just about making sure your company is following the rules. It's about empowering yourself. It's about you being able to claim the financial security that you have absolutely 100% earned through all your hard work. So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. You know, the way we work is changing fast. We've got the gig economy, remote jobs, people with multiple side hustles. The old model of a job for life is fading. So what kind of statutory safety net are we going to need for that future? What protections are going to matter the most to you?